Hello everyone, how are you? It's very cold here today. Yeah, 30th of November I'm recording this. It'll probably go out 1st of December, but you'd be watching it in your own time anyway, won't you? So yeah, what I want to talk about tonight is it's been on my mind for a while. I've sort of been formulating this one for a while, but I think now it's about the right time, following from a recent video I did, and there was a video by Dave Simpson which he put up I think last weekend, and there's this whole question about signature guitars and what the fascination is. Now, I mean, we start out with, you know, like, you've got your favourite players, or maybe you attach yourself to one particular player and you think, well, I like that player uses X guitar, therefore if I get a guitar like that, then I'll sound a lot more like my hero. But then, as I've talked about before, about this whole thing about, you know, like outgrowing your heroes, and your taste change, and even this idea that as your heroes, as their careers evolve and develop, that they get different signature guitars as well. You know, for example, for years, you know, like Zakk Wylde was associated with that white Les Paul Custom with the black bullseye pattern on it, but more recently he's got his own line of guitars, and he uses that thing that, I mean, I've seen him use, I forget what, you have to tell me what the name of it is. It's like half SG and half like a Flying V. It looks really cool, by the way. There's a whole other line of guitars which he uses as well. But I mean, I did this video about like Alex Lifeson and Rush, and this guitar was in it, and I was talking about, you know, how to try and sound like Rush, and of course I'm not going to sound perfectly like Alex Lifeson, because I'm not him. But you know, if you're a fan, I can get you some of the way there. And this guitar is an Epiphone, as you're probably aware. It's a limited edition 2011 one. It's a 355. Alex Lifeson's has a vibrola. This has got the Bigsby on instead, and his has the Various own control here, and a Gibson shaped headstock. This has the older Epiphone headstock that they used on the casinos and things like that. But the actual neck profile is, it's much more closer to a 355. It's got an ebony board. I was thinking of upgrading the pickups. Haven't quite got round to that yet. And of course I use it for my own stuff as well. You know, that I don't just use it exclusively for trying to sound like Alex Lifeson. I use it for the things that I do. You know, so I either keep it stock like this, or I do some mods to it, and then this becomes like one of my guitars with my preferences on it. So then this guitar, you know, as it is, it's stock. If I modify it, that then becomes part of this guitar's journey. If I become more famous, right. If I was to become more famous, and I got associated with using something like this, then maybe somewhere down the line there could be a signature guitar with those mods in it, and like some suggested improvements, etc., for production reasons, etc., etc., etc. And it's either a success or it's not. But yeah, I mean, like in that video about Alex Lifeson, you know, somebody quotes, you know, somebody put this thing about, well, why don't you use a Gibson 335 like Alex Lifeson does? Well, the main guitar I used for a start was a 355. So, you know, and to actually get like a proper Gibson 355, even just like a standard one, in this day and age, you're talking like between £4,500 to £5,000, and that's a lot of money on a guitar. Whereas this at the time, I mean, I think it was about 400, 450, something like that. I had to get a case with it as well, so that added a bit more onto it, and I traded some stuff in to get it. But this is a lot cheaper. I mean, like, because these were a limited run, they have now gone up in value, so they are a bit harder to come by. But even so, it was a lot cheaper. The actual poly finish is a bit more practical, because like if it gets sort of bashed and dinged, it's not gonna ruin it too much. If the worst came to the worst, it got sort of really badly damaged or even stolen, then it's not that much of a heartbreak. It'd be a kicker, but it wouldn't be that much of a heartbreak compared with losing at least, well, at least £4,500 to £5,000 on a Gibson 355. But if it was to be like a more authentic Lifeson 355, you know, you're talking a lot. You know, you're talking like, what, 10, 11 grand, something like that at least, because it would be like a limited run, wouldn't it? You know, they go to town on it, and they do all the various dings and etc, etc. But then that was getting me thinking, you know, like as I was saying, that like Dave Simpson, he did this video about John Frusciante's. There's a rumour that he's getting his own signature Strat, and that could be really cool, because you know, like, say, like, compared with, you know, like the John Mayer, the Silver Sky, a lot of people are using those Silver Sky guitars now, and even like they brought out the SE range, a lot of people are using those because they're really good guitars. A lot of it doesn't have much to do with John Mayer anymore, so you're finding people are playing them as like alternatives to buying Strats, and people are getting the SEs as alternatives to buying the Squires or the Player series. You know, just a bit of healthy competition. But then again, along those, you know, like, because like John Mayer, you know, like, he's had a few signatures, and then that brings me on to this other thing about, like, you know, when your favourite players have signature guitars and then they change brands or they bring a new model out, and then you start thinking, oh bloody hell, and it's like, I've got to get that one now, oh no. They're just for completeness, you end up having to shell out for basically the same thing that you've already got, just made by a different company, or it might have a few more upgrades on it, but do you really need it? You know, it's so I hope you're following this, what I'm trying to get at the moment. And then of course recently I was doing that thing about the this Appetite guitar. I'll show you that in a minute. As you know, yeah, because the Epiphone Greeny came out this week. Was it this week? Yeah. So the Epiphone Greeny came out on the 21st, and I was saying that basically, and it does seem to be true now, that basically it is one of these, an Appetite or even a Lazarus, but with a Gibson shaped headstock and a different bridge and the Greeny pickups. And then of course, you know, as I was saying in that video about this guitar, that the actual Appetite guitar itself was not actually, it wasn't actually a 59 Les Paul. It was based on a copy by somebody called, is it Christopher Derricks, I think. There was a video by the Guitar Historian. He's talking, he's really good video on that. He's talking about like the history of it. And this guy was just a luthier who was just you know, working away for years in his shed, just making like really good replica sort of vintage Les Pauls. Slash's manager just so happened to be in the region, said, oh, that looks nice, how much do you want for it? And then bought it, and then that just changed rock and roll history. But say that like Slash's manager hadn't gone to that shop on that day, you know, that and then this guitar ended up sat in there, and somebody else picked it up. I mean, that's a whole different, a whole different line of history then, isn't it? But what I'm saying is then, because this has got like Slash's name on it, doesn't mean you have to, it doesn't mean you have to just play exclusively Guns N' Roses music on it, or Slash's music on it, because it's like modelled after like a 59 Les Paul. I think it's a 59. It's got quite a sort of reasonable thickness on the neck. But it's just a nice Les Paul copy. And I've been watching like some of those Joe Bonamassa videos, about his extensive collection of vintage Les Pauls, and quite easily you could put a scratch plate on this, change the pickups out for like cream humbuckers, maybe change these as well, and then you've got like an approximation to like one of those Joe Bonamassa Les Pauls, or you could just like choose some pickups that you like yourself and take it in your own direction, because like, after all, as guitarists, this is pretty much your office. This is your desk. Whereas most people on their desk, they'll have like the computer, maybe a pot plant, a photograph of the family or the dog or whatever. Nice cup of tea or coffee on a coaster next to you. But so the same thing goes, like for the guitar. So, it's a case of like, just because it's got somebody else's name on it doesn't mean you have to play their style of music. I mean, for a start, even before it says Slash on it, it says Les Paul. So, if that was true, if the gatekeepers were being strictly accurate about that, then we should be like playing Les Paul's music. We should be playing Mr. Sandman and How High the Moon and that sort of thing. Which would be great, but that's probably not what it's probably not what you're going after a Les Paul for, in this day and age. So that's that, and then I've just got one more to show, just because it gives me an excuse to show off some of my nice guitars, doesn't it? But okay, come back now. Yeah, this one, this Cantrell Wino Les Paul Custom. Because like Chogley did a video on like the Gibson version of this, and saying it's just a 90s Les Paul Custom that Jerry Cantrell got, and then he modded it. He put a piezo, or you might pronounce it piezo, but I would call it piezo. A bridge, like an acoustic, one of those bridges on instead, and then I had it rewired. But otherwise, it would be pretty much a stock Les Paul Custom from the 90s. So at this price point, even though it says Jerry Cantrell on it, you can actually just get a really nice Les Paul Custom for less than £1,000. You shop round like someone like the big chains, like Guitar or Guitar Centre or whatever, and they'll bring the price down even further. You get a used one, and you can get something like this for like less than £600. Whereas like a Les Paul Custom, you're looking around for like £4,000. So it's a no-brainer, really, isn't it? They get something like this, hot rod it how you want it, and you've got just a really good working guitar. Finally, Epiphone have been making just really good workhorse guitars. I mean, they always did make like good quality guitars, but now they're starting to just just appeal to like sort of working musicians, like semi-pro musicians, or people like us who do like YouTube and whatnot. So what I'm saying is that, like, what actually qualifies as a signature guitar? Oh, somebody endorses it, right? Well, that's the endorsement deal, that's going to be part of their celebrity. That's like how they make some money, isn't it? You know, but certainly, you know, but if you actually take a step back, before they were endorsing those guitars, they were playing those styles of guitars for a reason, because the music they were playing dictated that that's what they needed, you know. Or there may be some exceptions, you know, say like the like with Steve Vai and the Gem. You know, he needed a guitar which would be like an all-round instrument, that he could play practically any session or any style of music using a Gem, and he's good to go. And I'd say the same with like somebody like Steve Lukather. Some of those Music Man Luke guitars, which are really nice actually, that with that, you know, he can get pretty much anything that he needs, you know, on that one guitar. It saves you lugging like a truckload of guitars and gear around with you, because you've already got what you need, you know, in that one instrument. So yeah, so I know there's no playing in this one, but I just wanted to get that one across, you know, that like you know, what is it that actually makes a signature guitar, and what is it that you would actually say would be your signature guitar? You know, like, you know, as you develop as a player, you know, are you strictly in one style, or do you like to cover, you know, like a range? You know, like you know, you might be into like hard rock and metal and stuff, but you might be into fusion, and you might be into funk, and you might be into bits of jazz as well. Do you want one guitar that's going to do all that lot, or do you want like a few guitars which are just really good go-to guitars, which, yeah, I know I'm playing a rock gig tonight, therefore I need a Les Paul, or I know I'm playing in this fusion band tonight, therefore I need maybe a semi, or like a super strat, and I do sort of, you know, high gain sort of Holdsworthy type stuff, etc, etc. Or I'm playing in a Red Hot Chili Peppers tribute band, therefore I need a strat. I don't necessarily need like a John Frusciante signature strat, but I need a good strat, you know, etc, etc. Or maybe you're a telly player. You know, I mean, I saw this really nice Mike Stern. I saw this really nice so that's like a Yamaha. It's their version of a telly, but it's like, it just looked really nice. And again, it's like it's a good all-round instrument which would suit his style of playing. You know, so but yeah, so I think I'm going to leave it there. I mean, I think you got the point here. You know that yeah, what is it that makes a signature guitar? And what would your signature guitar be? You know, or maybe you've got one. You know, or maybe you collect guitars because of your heroes. You know, because your hero has like played a range of different models, that you've like collected them all. That's equally valid as well. Or maybe you just like collecting guitars because you just like collecting them. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. As always, please comment below. Please consider subscribing. Welcome to all the new subscribers. I'll see you next time.